Have you ever spent weeks, maybe even months, coming up with a perfect name for your business just to find out that somebody else is already using it? Or maybe you think your business name is protected because you've registered the LLC for that name, or you've even purchased a domain name with that name. You may want to stick around because today we're busting the 5 biggest trademark myths that I see clients make when it comes to protecting their name and their brand. Ready? Well, let's do this. Hey there, my name is Jim Hart. I am the founder of Hawthorn Law and a trademark attorney. And on this channel, I help entrepreneurs like you to protect and grow their business the right way, the legal way. So if you're looking to build a brand the right way, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on future videos. Let's jump into today's video. When most entrepreneurs are just getting started with their business, they focus on the fun stuff, logos, coming up with a great name, building a product, building out a website, social media, all of those type of things. And that's because you really want to make your business real and tangible and exciting for you and for the customers that you're looking to serve. And somewhere along the way, you're going to start thinking about your name. You're going to start thinking about how you want your clients and customers to refer to you and what your brand image is actually going to be. But here's the thing. I see people make the same wrong decisions when it comes to their brand over and over and over again. And these assumptions can really come back to bite you, especially when your business starts to take off. So let's start with myth number 1. If I register my LLC, my brand is obviously protected. Nope. This myth is so common and so wrong for so many reasons. Registering your LLC with the Secretary of State where you live does not give you any rights to that name. All it means, other than the legal protections you get from having the LLC, all registering your name with the Secretary of State means is that nobody else in your state can register an LLC for the same name that you registered your LLC for. Trademarks, on the other hand, are governed by federal law, and they will protect your name, your slogan, your logo, anything else related to your business that is capable of trademark protection across the entire United States within your industry. And that's an important part that most people forget. It's within your industry. So let's say, for example, that you live in Florida and you decide that you want to register an LLC and you want to call that LLC Sunrise Consulting, okay? And you do that. And then you start operating and you're building a consulting business and things are going well. And then you receive a cease and desist letter from another company called Sunrise Consulting because they're upset that you're using their name. And rightfully so. They've been around for 10 years and they own a federal trademark to that name. Jesus Christ, the fucking leaf blowers are back. So yes, an LLC is a great first start when you're building a business, but it's not going to protect your name. It's not a shield. It's kind of like putting a lock on your front door, but leaving all the windows open. Somebody's getting it in. All right, so let's go to myth number 2, which is a slightly related myth to registering your LLC. And that's purchasing the domain name for the brand that you want to own. I get this question from clients all the time who say, hey, I own the domain name. I got this brand. I'm good, right? Nope. Once again, not good. Buying a domain name is kind of like buying a piece of real estate. It gives you control over that web address, but it doesn't give you ownership of the brand name itself. If somebody owns a trademark for the web address that you registered, they can actually force you to give up that address, even if you bought it first, because there's the potential that you are causing confusion in the marketplace. I've worked with a number of clients who have owned great .com domain names for many years, thinking that they actually own the name to the registered trademark. And then what inevitably happens is a larger company or corporation who owns the actual federal trademark for that name comes knocking and wants them to give up that web address. And in many cases, clients will have to rebrand, come up with a new name, new domain name, new logo, the whole kit and caboodle, which equates to a lot of money, thousands and thousands of dollars lost, because you've got the wrong name and your name is not protected. So yes, you should definitely purchase the domain name for the brand that you want to use with your business, but you also need to make sure you protect that brand name as well. All right, so that brings us to myth number 3. If I'm using my name first, then I don't need to do anything else because I've got common law rights. And most people don't know what that means. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Now, this one is a little bit true. I will say it has a grain of truth to it, and that makes it a little bit dangerous as well. And that's because you do get some common law rights when you start using your trademark in commerce, whether it's registered or not. But those rights are going to be limited to the geographic area where you're doing business. So if you open up a restaurant in Raleigh and you're the first one there in Raleigh to use the name in connection with your restaurant, then yes, you have common law rights to that trademark. But if somebody else registers the name on a federal level with a trademark, then they can come in and shut you down. Let's take another example here. Let's say you decide you want to sell handmade jewelry or crafts or something like that, and you're selling them at farmers markets where you live, and you want to expand online. Now, you are going to have common law rights to the brand that you've created within the geographic location where you are selling your products. However, if there is another business out there that owns the rights to the federal trademark, then guess what? They can block you from setting up an online store to sell your products nationwide. So that's where the panic sets in for a lot of my clients, because they realize that they built their whole brand, they built their whole business around a brand and a name that they can't legally use anymore. And that's a big problem. So you're stuck. You can either fight an expensive legal battle, or you can give up and start over and spend a lot of money rebranding. And that's what most people have to do. So this is the point in the story where I'm talking about today, where most entrepreneurs realize that they really need to take their trademarks seriously. Which brings us to myth number 4. Trademarks are only really for big companies. And that is a big, fat no. If you have or have created a brand, then you have something worth protecting. I've filed hundreds of trademarks for solopreneurs, people who own stores on Etsy, people who have Amazon stores, even side hustlers, restaurants, manufacturing companies, you name it, I've helped that company or business register a trademark. And you know what? It's the side hustlers are the ones that thank me the most later, because they realize how much value they have in registering their trademark. Because as their business starts to grow, they don't have to worry that somebody's going to come and try and steal their name from them. And that's because they already did the legwork up front to make sure their name is protected. I want you to think about it this way. Don't wait until you make it to protect your brand. Protect your brand so that you can make it. That's pretty deep, actually. All right, quick sip. Going with my branded Yeti mug here today. It's too late for coffee. Which leads us to the 5th myth. And that's that trademarks are too complicated or too expensive to file. And I get it. This whole process, it sounds intimidating. And to some people, it kind of is. But it's not as bad as you think, especially when you work with somebody who does this on a daily basis. A proper search, a solid filing, and a little bit of legal strategy can save you years of headaches later on. And believe it or not, there are affordable, flat fee options that make this totally doable for many small businesses. So don't let fear or confusion hold you back. The hardest part of this entire process is just getting started. So here's what I want you to take away from today's video. Your brand is your most valuable business asset, believe it or not. Not your website, not your LLC, not your logo. It's your brand. It's the way people recognize you in the marketplace is what's going to set you apart. And understanding all of these trademark myths that we've talked about today is the first step towards protecting it. So if you found this helpful, make sure you check out this other video right here, somewhere over here, about the top trademark mistakes that I see people make when they're trying to file their own trademark application. And if you're ready to protect your brand, visit hawthornlaw.net and schedule a free call with me or my team, and we can get you started. Until next time, my name is Jim Hart, and remember, your brand matters, so make sure it's protected. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, folks.